let me read the scripture for today, and we'll move and get you out of here as quickly as possible. Turning your Bibles to the book of the beginning, in the book of Genesis, in the 22nd chapter. Genesis in the 22nd chapter. And I'm going to start reading at verse number 13. Genesis in the 22nd chapter, verse number 13. Amen. When you have a look, you say amen. Amen. If you need more time, say Bible study. Amen. I hear you today. Amen. Not so. All right, look at the screen if you need to. And the Bible reads as follows. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. May God add a blessing to the reading and hearing of this anointed word, and may I today have the courage to preach it. Let the people of God say amen. Amen. If you all will pray with me but for a few moments, I want to come from the theme, the thought, the topic, advancing to the next level. I want to talk about advancing. I want to talk to somebody who intentionally turn to somebody and tell them, I'm going someplace. I'm going someplace. Amen. Come on, tell them like you believe. Tell them, I'm going someplace. I'm going someplace. And so I want to talk today about advancing to the next level. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Come on, give God a hand praise in this place. Advancing to the next level. Amen. When Abraham was 75 years old, God called him out of Ur of the Chaldeans and promised that he would make him into a great nation. Turn to somebody and tell them it's never too late. It's never too late. That promise was repeated and enlarged a number of times during the next 24 years. But in all these years, Abraham only had one son, Ishmael, by his wife's Egyptian servant girl. And his family grew smaller, not larger. His father Terah died. His nephew Lot abandoned him to go live in Sodom. And how many of us here know today that before God adds, many times he will subtract? Yeah. Amen. Yep. Is anybody following me today? Gotcha. How many of us know that before God adds, many times he will subtract? Turn to somebody and tell them, I'm going to the next level. I'm going to the next level. When Abraham was 99 years old, God appeared again and promised Abraham a son by his wife, Sarah. By now, Abraham was long past the age of producing children, as was Sarah, who had also been barren all her life. I want to encourage somebody that might feel that you've been or you are barren, that you feel like you haven't produced what God would have you to produce yet. I'm here today to encourage you, to let you know that it's not too late. Turn to somebody, look at them, and tell them it's not too late. It's not too late. Yeah, somebody needs to be encouraged to know that it's not too late. Exactly what God said he would do, exactly what God desires to do is exactly what God is going to do. Turn to somebody and tell them it's not too late. It's not too late. By now, Abraham was long past the age of producing children. However, Abraham believed God, and a son was born to Sarah and Abraham. They named their son Isaac, which means laughter. And he was born when Abraham was, watch this, he was born when Abraham was 100 years of age and Sarah was 90 years old. Turn to somebody and tell them it ain't too late.
It ain't too late.
Sometimes we have to wait on the promise of God. And I'm not referring to the natural. I'm speaking to the supernatural things that God, Jeff, has promised to us. All of us have a season. All of us have a divine time that God is going to accomplish. And is there anybody here today who knows that though the storm, though the battle, though the timing has been long, you still believe that God will do what he says that he will do? Is there anybody in the house that believes that? So I'm here today to encourage, even if it ain't but one person, I will encourage somebody here that you still believe that there's another level for you. That you don't believe that you're stuck where you are, that where you are is the climax of your life, that you don't believe that this is as good as it gets. Is there anybody in here today who believes that there's something more for you? If you believe that, then this word is for you today. All went well, watch this. All went well for many years, perhaps as many as 3 decades. Then suddenly one day, Abraham's peaceful world was shattered. God appeared to Abraham again and put him to a great test. Probably the greatest test any of God's servant has ever gone through. God called Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac. I've asked this question before, and I want to ask it again. You can say, what do you do when living right ain't working?
Well, Lord Jesus, keep praying.
I want you to contemplate that today. Because we just assume that being faithful to God exempts us from having challenges in our life. We just assume that being consistent to God, that it exempts us from having been put to the test. And an even greater question than that, Brother Jeff, what do you do? How do you respond? How would you react if it appears that God was an Indian giver? Anybody know what that term means? That's a term I learned when I was a boy. Somebody give you something, and then they want to take back. Somebody talk to me. When we grew up, everybody may not know that term. I don't assume everybody knows it. When I was a boy growing up, that's what we called that. Stacy, we call people like that an Indian giver. And I certainly don't mean to be derogatory ethnically, but that just was the term that was used. It meant that you gave me something and then you take it back. So what do you do when it appears that God is being an Indian giver? God gives you something and then God comes and says, give me back what I gave you. In our text today, God had spoke to Abraham and told Abraham, I want you to leave. Let's set the context of the text. You all know that I'm very big on context. In the context of the text, the backdrop of this story was that God appeared unto Abram at that time, not Abraham, but Abram, and told Abram, I want you to leave your country. I want you to leave your country. I want you to get out from, I want you to leave your family behind. I want you to leave the life that you knew behind. I want you to leave everything that you know behind. And I want you to go to a place that I will show you when you arrive. My question is, how many of us are able to hear from God and step out of faith? How many of us know that we walk by faith and not by sight? Talk back to me. That we walk by faith and not by what? Sight. That how many of us can step out on faith with God, and God said, I want you to leave everything behind. Leave your house behind, leave your car behind, leave everything behind, and I want you to go. And I'll tell you when to go. And when you arrive, I'll tell you when to stop moving. But sometimes that's what it takes to get to the next level.
Amen.
And then after Abraham left, if we fast forward through the history of things that happened, God appeared to Abraham in his old age. Appeared to him and said, Abraham, I'm going to bless you with a child. I'm going to bless you with a son. Sarah, his wife, had been barren all of these years. She was a woman of age. It was clinically and physically, Mother Harry, impossible. And we make fun of my wife sitting there make fun of me saying, don't even think about it. And so, but we have to understand that when God speaks, Carolyn, God means what he says. And so God spoke to Abraham and said, Abraham, though your wife has been barren all of your time together, all of her life, I'm going to bless you all with a male child. I'm going to bless you with a legacy. And the Bible says that Abraham laughed at God. God ever told you something and you laugh at God? Come on, talk to me. And even though you didn't laugh out loud, you laughed in your spirit, you said, you must be kidding. I've never done that before. That's never happened before. I don't know how that's even possible. Ain't no way. Anybody ever had that conversation with God? But I'm here today to remind you that God is the only one who can do the impossible.
That's right. Amen.
And to get to the next level, I want to tell you that only the impossible happening is what will make it happen.
Amen. That's right.
So the Bible said that Abram was told, you're going to have a male child. With his wife Sarah, said, Sarah, God has told me that we're going to have a child together. And she laughed at God while she was laughing at Abraham. You must have lost your mind. So they laughed at God. But isn't it good to know that when we laugh at God, when we gawk at what God is telling us to do, Deacon Staggs, that God don't get offended? You know, our feelings get hurt easy. You tell somebody something, you say something to somebody, they don't take you serious, they don't adhere to what you're telling them. We get hurt, we get offensive. But thanks be to God that God doesn't get offended by my behavior sometimes. I don't know if that applies to anybody here.
Amen. Yes, it does.
And so God said, in spite of the fact that you laughed at me, in spite of the fact that you didn't take me at my word initially, I'm still going to do what I said that I'm going to do. I'm going to bless you with a child. And then, watch this. What happened was, Darlene, that they got impatient with God. Sometimes we then just take God at his word, but then we get impatient with God because now we put God on a time clock. How many of us have put God on a time clock? Let's be real. How many of us will be real there? How many of you have put God on a time clock? God said, I'm going to do this, and you say, okay, you're on the clock. And so it said, I'm going to give you a male child. And so they put God on the time clock, Mother Harry, and because God did not respond or did not do what he said he was going to do in the time frame that they wanted, and that's why the scripture is so important. It said, lean not to your own understanding. Sarah said, I got an idea. Why don't you lay down? Come on, somebody. The Bible said, there is a way that seemeth right. Talk back to me. There's a way that seemeth right. So why don't you lay down with my servant? She's a young woman. She's able to have children. And what we'll do is we'll just adopt the child. But how many of us know that you can't take an alternative route to get to the next level? Everybody dismiss that and say, how many in here know that you can't take an ulterior route, an alternative route to get to the next level? In order to get to the next level, you got to go the way God set for you to go.
Hallelujah.
No matter what it costs, no matter what you got to go through, and by the way, no matter how long you got to wait, you got to wait on God to do what he said he's going to do. Turn to somebody and tell them, I'm going to the next level.
I'm going to the next level.
And so the Bible said that Sarah proposed this idea to Abraham. Lay down with my servant. She's a young woman. She can have a child. We'll adopt the child. We'll love the child. We'll call the child of our own. She had a son. He did what she said do. They had a son together, Ishmael. Everybody say Ishmael. They had Ishmael. Ishmael was not the promise. Don't let folks talk you into doing stuff that is not a part of God's plan.
Amen. Amen.
Don't participate. I don't care how good it sounds, how brilliant it sounds. I don't care whether you think that it will shorten the time that you got to wait. I don't care whether you think it's a reasonable alternative or solution to what God said. Our minds are not God's mind. Our thoughts are not God's thoughts. You can't take an alternative route to the next level.
Amen.
Turn to somebody and tell them, stay the course.
Stay the course.
Come on, look at them and say, stay the course.
Stay the course.
We have to stay the course. No matter how long, Jeff, it takes, we got to stay the course.
Amen.
So they did it their own way. Ishmael comes. Now you got a mess on your hand, because now watch this. And see, when you think that the solution is right, when you think the answer is right, you'll find out that it'll cause you more troubles down the road.
Yes, it will.
So after Ishmael showed up on the scene, now Sarah's got a problem.
Yes, she do.
Because now the two ladies are bickering and arguing. Because the truth of the matter is that Sarah didn't birth that promise.
Right.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah. Amen.
See, you can't claim what belongs to somebody else and try and call it your own. And think that they're going to be all right with it. The Bible said now there was friction, there was turmoil in the home between the three of them, because now we got something that was not part of God's plan. Don't allow something to enter into your home that was not a part of God's plan. It will cause nothing but, I wish somebody talk back to me. It will cause nothing but confusion. The Bible said that Ishmael came. He was not a part of God's plan. It was part of the plan that Sarah and Abraham put together, and it ended up causing more problems than it did good.
Yeah.
The Bible said that in spite of what they did, in spite of the choice that they made, that God kept his promise. How many of us know that in spite of ourselves, God will keep his promise?
Amen. Ooh, thank you, Lord.
Amen.
And so just as God said, Sarah bore a child. And again, they called his name Isaac. Everybody say Isaac.
Isaac.
And his name means laughter. He was named because they laughed at God. And said, name him Isaac, which means laughter. You laughed at me, I'm going to give you something to laugh at. Talk to me.
Ain't gonna lie.
Bless you. And so Isaac now is on the scene. The promise is on the scene. And as I said earlier, years had gone by, time had gone by, and now Sarah and Abraham, even though Ishmael is still around, and even though Ishmael's mother is still around, the Bible said that now Isaac is here. The promise is here. How many of us receive the promise of God, even though you see the effects and the residue of the choices that you made? Thank God. Turn to somebody and say, thank God for the promise.
Thank God.
Come on, say, thank God for the promise. I can see the impact of the choice that I make. I can see the residue of the choice that I made. But thank God for the promise. Somebody say, thank God for the promise. And so years have now gone by, and Isaac is now coming of age. And the Bible said that now God shows up again. Turn to somebody and say, I'm going to the next level. Come on, tell them I'm going to the next level. And so God shows up and says, Abraham, it's time to go to the next level.
Yes.
Anybody remember your day? Anybody still dreaming about your day when God's going to show up and take you? He's going to make that declaration. It's time for you to go to the next level.
Hallelujah.
And so God shows up again and he said, Abraham, it's time to go to the next level. But before you go to the next level, there's some things I need you to do. 3 things I want you to write down.
All right.
3 things if you want to go to the next level. If you're going to get to the next level, number 1, the next level will take you to an unknown place.
All right.
Abraham heard from God again, Stacy. God showed up and had a conversation with him again, and he had a similar conversation to the first conversation he had the first time. The first time, Shay, he told him, leave your family, get out of your country, get out of what's familiar to you, get away from what you know, and I'm going to send you to a place that you don't know. That was the first conversation. Now God comes back, Joe, and says, I want you to go. I don't want you to take Sarah. I only want you to take Isaac. And I want you to go. I want you to go, and I want you to go, and when you get to the place that I need you to get to, then I will tell you when you arrive.
Yeah.
I want to tell somebody today that it may feel like you don't know where you're going. The enemy may try to tell you don't know where you're going. It's okay.
Yes.
Because sometimes in order to get to the next level is a place that I'm not familiar with.
Yes. Yes.
Somebody talk to me.
Yes. Gotta trust it.
Sometimes the next level is a place not known to me, not familiar to me. And so Abraham was told, take Isaac, because I'll get to the sacrifice later. He said, take Isaac and I want you to go to a place, to a mountain, to a place, and I'll show you when you get there. Sometimes, again, I'll repeat, we have to walk by faith and not by sight. Look in the book of St. John in the 3rd chapter, verse number 8. You'll see there on the screen. St. John, the 3rd chapter, verse number 8, and look at what it said. Jesus is talking to Nicodemus in this portion of text. And he says these words to him. He says, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, and canst not tell where it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. Jesus was talking to Nicodemus and saying, there are going to be times in your life, Cynthia, where you don't know where the direction is coming from, and you won't know where you're going. But something inside of you, if you're flowing in the Spirit, turn to somebody and say, you got to flow in the Spirit. Turn to somebody and tell them, you got to flow in the Spirit. If you're flowing in the Spirit, if you're in tune with the Spirit, if you're in one with the Spirit of God, then even though you don't know where it's coming from, you know it's God. And even though you don't know where you're going, it's okay because God is sending you.
That's right.
Turn to somebody and tell you, you got to stay in the Spirit. We got to stay in the Spirit. Got to flow in the Spirit. When you're flowing in the Spirit, Jeff, then you're not concerned. Jesus was telling Nicodemus, you must be born again. Because when he was trying to explain this thing to him, he was taking a carnal approach to what Christ was telling him. So do I just crawl back in my mother's womb and am I born again? He said, no, that which is born of spirit is spirit, and that which is born of flesh is flesh. He says, marvel not, I say unto you, you must be born again. Then he told him and said, listen, Nicodemus, I want you to understand that the Spirit of God, when it moves, you ain't gonna know, you ain't gonna know from where it comes. Because you don't know when the Spirit of God is going to call on you.
That's right.
Amen.
If you're going to go to the next level, you don't know when God is going to need you to move.
That's right.
And I want to tell you that God does not move us as a matter of convenience.
No.
Talk back to me. It is not a matter of convenience, else God moves us when he needs to move us. But on the other hand, I will not move until God says move.
Amen.
So he said, where the wind is going to come from, you're not going to know, and where it's going to drive you, you're not going to know. Abraham was told simply to go. And when you arrive, anybody in here know that God is pushing you, that God is driving you someplace?
Yes.
You're apprehensive, you're nervous, you're frustrated, you're concerned because you're not sure. The enemy is trying to confuse what God is doing in your life. But I came to give you assurance that even though you don't know, you need to know who knows. Stop trusting in yourself. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to calculate it. And it's time to walk by faith and not by sight.
Amen.
So if you're going to get to the next level, I want you to know that the next level will take you to an unknown place. Number 2. If you're going to get to the next level will demand you leave some stuff behind.
That's good.
If you're going to get to the next level, getting to the next level will mean you're going to have to leave some stuff behind. Turn to somebody and tell them you got to leave some stuff behind. Look at the first conversation with God. God told Abram, leave your family behind. Leave everything you know behind. And I want you to go and I'll show you a place. And God did just that, Brother Jeff. And now, Marie, God is back for a second conversation, a follow-up conversation. Sometimes when God speaks to us, the first conversation, Tammy, is only a prelude to really taking us to where he intends for us to go. How many of us realize that where you are today may be different than where you were, but it's not where you are supposed to be? Let me try that today. I only had about 3 or 4 people. I said, how many of us today, where you are today is not where you were, but you also know it's not where God is taking you.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that one more time. I got people, we're not all in agreement yet. I said, how many in here know that where you are today is where you were? It's not where you were.
Come on.
Turn to somebody and say, thank God I'm not where I was. Yeah, see, we need to, this is a message of celebration. I'm trying to celebrate with you. You are not where you were.
Right. Hallelujah.
Anybody grateful I'm not where I was? But anybody excited that where I am is not where I'm going to finish?
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Let me try that again. Is there anybody grateful today? I'm not where I was.
Yes.
I'm not in that place that I was. I'm in a new place today. I'm in a new posture today. I got a new focus today. I think differently. I talk differently. I respond to anybody grateful that you're not where you were. Give God a praise in here. But is there anybody that can receive this word and also celebrate God and say, God, I'm excited because I know you're taking me someplace. And where I am today, even though I'm not there anymore, God, I'm excited because I'm going to the next level. Somebody shout, I'm going to the next level. Today's a damn celebration. Today I'm trying to help you to recognize that God is taking you someplace. God is taking the church of the living God someplace. God is intentional, Stacy. We're going someplace. Stop letting the devil. And I know that we got stuff that needs to be fixed. I know that God has to get us through something, over something. I know he's got to reconcile some stuff. That's okay. That's going to be with us always. But the good news is that no matter what the work is he's got to do, Susan, we're on our way someplace. Somebody tell me I'm going to the next level.
I see ya.
But if you're going to get to the next level, secondly, it's going to demand, not ask you, not plead with you,
Yes. Amen.
not console with you to see if you think it's a good idea. Sometimes God don't care whether you agree with him or not.
Amen. Right.
But if you're going to get to the next level, there's some demands that are going to be placed on you. And one of the demands is you're going to have to leave some stuff behind.
Amen.
Now God is in the second conversation with now Abraham. And he's telling Abraham, watch it. He's telling Abraham, he said, listen. He said, I need you to leave. Now, watch it. He said, now I want you to leave your wife behind.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I wish somebody heard me today. So I want you to leave your wife behind. Leave your house behind. Leave the life that you're living now, Jeff, behind. I want you to take your son Isaac with you. take the promise with you.
Yes. Come on.
And how many of us know, Clarence, we can find comfort in the fact that, well, thanks be to God, at least God left the promise with me. I had to leave this behind, but I still got the, some of us celebrate, well, I still got the promise. Well, he gonna deal with the promise down the road.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so Abraham went, and he took Isaac with him. And he said, when you arrive at the next level, he said, I'll tell you.
Yes.
And so the Bible said that Abraham, he got to the place that God wanted to do his work. And he said that when Abraham left, he took Isaac, but he also took some servants with him.
Right.
And they were journeying, and I'm sure along the way, Susan, there was conversation with Abraham, because it's just our human nature when we go, Arlene, we just want to know what's up, you know. Turn to somebody and say, what's up? What's up? We just want to know what's up. And so I'm sure along the way they were just asking Abraham, so what's up, Abraham? You know, and I'm sure he was vague and said, God is directing me and God is leading me, and so I need you to just follow. I don't have much more than that. God said that I got a work to do. I can't really talk about that, but I got something I need to do for him. And I'm sure he wasn't speaking about it as positively and as confident as I am, because when you got to sacrifice the promise, that's not a good feeling, Marie.
Not at all.
And so they got to the base of the place where God was getting ready to do his work. And watch this. God told Abraham, he said, okay, now the ones that you took with you, he said, I want you to leave them behind with the asses. I want you to leave them behind, because I'm getting ready to take you up higher.
What?
Brothers and sisters, when you get ready to go to that next level, you're going to have to leave some more stuff behind.
Ooh, yes.
You're going to have to leave some more people behind. You're going to have to separate from some. Look at the Bible in Hebrews 12:1. Watch this. It says, wherefore, seeing we are also compassed about with such a great cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and sin. Turn to somebody and say, don't forget the sin.
Don't forget the sin.
Every weight and sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. In the book of 2 Corinthians 6 and 17, write it down. 2 Corinthians 6 and 17 says these words. It says, wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord. And touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Sometimes God has to tell us, come out from among them. Because some of the stuff that's with you, some of the stuff that's attached to you, the level I'm taking you to, you can't take that stuff with you. Y'all mighty quiet today. With what I want to do in your life, Jeff, there's some stuff that has to be detached from you, and you got to leave that behind. You got to separate, and we don't like separating. We separating is uncomfortable, Arlene.
Yes.
Leaving stuff behind, leaving people behind is uncomfortable. But every now and then we got to leave some stuff behind.
Yes. Real talk.
Turn to somebody and tell them everybody can't go where you go.
Everybody can go where you go.
Everybody can't go where you going.
Can't do it.
And that ain't a bad thing, but that's the truth. Sometimes you just got to accept from God, everybody can't go where you going. Don't make them bad. Don't make them insufficient. Don't make them irrelevant. God has a blessing, a work, and assignment for them. But sometimes everybody just can't go where you going.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Number 3, let's close. I'm done. Number 3, let's go. If you're going to go to the next level, I'm done. If you're going to go to the next level, it will demand you sacrifice something.
Yes. That's right. That's right. Wow.
If you're going to the next level, come on, Kim. If you're going to the next level, you got to sacrifice something. I'm not gonna scream and holler, I'm not gonna shout, because this message is too important for you to get this, too important for you to understand this. I don't want you to believe that getting to the next level is not gonna cost you something.